All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Creature Corner. I'm your host, Jared Krichevsky. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Joining me today is my ghost with the most, the ghost host. He's the spooky guy. He's the guy in your eye, in the glint of your eye. It's Matt Millard. Welcome, Matt Millard.
I am the guy in your eye.
You're the guy in your eye. You're like the glint, the spark.
The hope. The hope
You
of
are.
tomorrow.
Yes. You are my spark, Matt Millard.
What's going on, JK?
All right. Well, let's dive into what we're working on. What do you think?
Sounds great, man.
We can talk about what we're working on, then we'll talk about some Elden Ring.
Oh no.
Because everybody loves the Elden.
Oh, it's so
Elden
good.
Ring. How many hours have you put in so far?
47.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like a work week.
Yeah. Yeah, from Thursday night.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's
Oh
been
wow.
rough.
How much sleep? How much sleep have you gotten?
I'm talking going to sleep at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. You're waking up. You're like, man, I've got to get something done today. 10 o'clock rolls around, a.m. And you're like, I could pop on for another 8 hours if I need.
What's a lunch break between friends?
What is a lunch break?
I don't know. Do you game in your lunch break?
See,
you don't take a lunch break because you're gaming and you're just trying to crunch the rest of the day.
Well, I'm blessed right now because I'm basically out of work.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've been off for the last week or so.
Okay.
So it came out right on time, and I was just like,
you're like,
sweet. Yeah.
Sweet mercy. All right. Well, let's do a check-in. So I'll start
Cool.
us off.
Awesome.
Last week we were assembling Goliath here, and pretty much just grabbing my pre-made mannequin and then sculpting up proportions and all that stuff. So this is what the result of that was last time. So it was just blocking in proportions, working out his trilateral leg. And I was grabbing some pre-made wings that I already had. And then that was it. Like, this is where we left off at the end of the show. And then from there, I did a little bit of like noodling during the week.
Yeah.
So I gave myself like 15 minutes of lunch crunch. And this is like, so we started here, kind of like around here, very chiseled, sharp shapes. Like everything is very uber chiseled. And then I went down and I started doing like a kind of a smooth down pass. So once I found the planes of the anatomy, then I start kind of like whittling it down a little bit and starting to add more anatomy, make it a little bit more subtle. So that's kind of what it is now. And so I worked on a little bit during the week, and basically some things I noticed between the like the cartoon is the width of the jaw here.
Yeah.
That thing is really wide in there. So just adding a little bit more of that. I'm going to scale up his eyes a little bit too today because they're a little bit small.
Yeah.
I don't want to go like anime big, like this big, but like, scale them up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And then syncing the anatomy together. So, what was, just parts and pieces. Now it's welded together and doing an actual anatomy pass on that. And then building up his leg muscles too, because, Goliath's got some pretty chunky legs here.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Like muscular and angular. So that's one thing I want to kind of add in there is a little bit of the angularity in there. And then I started working on his feet as well. This was all just last week after the show, in my crunch time. And so right now you see he's only got one middle toe.
Yeah, the most expressive one.
The most expressive toe. And then once I'm done with this, I'll cut it off and duplicate it. And then we'll have extra toes. So I like to, because I don't know if I'm lazy or, but I like to just do one finger, one toe, and then duplicate that around.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a time suck for sure.
It can, and especially if you're doing like every toe individually and you want to match, it's a pain in the butt. So this is a nice way to kind of do that.
I like that raptor bird kind of feel on the toe.
Yeah, and I was even debating like scales.
Yeah, right.
I don't think I'm going to go with that. Like maybe more like leathery skin as opposed to scales.
More subtle. Yeah.
Yeah, because the scales
looking reptilian.
That'll make them reptilian. That'll change the feel of it. And the feeling I get from these guys is it's not scaly. Although it'd be kind of cool to like do a test and see.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in some areas, like his skin is so tough that it's kind of scaled up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe as we kind of travel down the foot, you know what I mean. And so that's that. And then for the feet, I was thinking about like T-Rex feet, right? Because he's got the 3 toes. There's enough like heft to them, and they're bendable enough, so they're flexible. So that's kind of and he's got that back toe in there as well. So something a little closer to that. And then got the wings, and so I kind of crooked those down into space, into a good place. And then I also did like a quick test of like the arms folded, because that's like his whole his whole thing, right? Like he's that's
fun.
And so not necessarily sticking with that, but just to like do a little character. I think pose wise, you got to do like your standard like 3/4, here's the design.
Yeah.
And then you can start doing some like more moody shots of like him doing the hunched over, the Goliath pose, where he's looking out upon, over the city. And so today is pretty much just like another anatomy pass. I'm going to work on the hands a bit, start getting those tight. And then he's also got some other things. He's got like a tail.
He's got the tail. Yeah.
He's got the tail, which is rad. And then he's also got the
little spikes on his elbows.
The elbow talon. Yeah. So I got to get those in there. So that's pretty much today. And then later on, about midway through, I'll give you an update on that subterranean creature I was working on.
Oh, cool.
Diving into substance, and I've used substance before, but now I'm like doing a deeper dive into it, and like
that's awesome,
integrating it into the process. So I'm excited to share that with you, buddy.
Awesome, dude. Can't wait.
And then so that's it for today. So let's check in on Matt Millard.
I'm doing the ball.
The ball.
The mad ball.
The evil mad ball.
The beholder from Dungeons and Dragons.
That's great.
So this is the only representation I really have, but you can definitely see I was in Noodle Zone in the first episode. So I was in like complete change.
Yeah, look at that.
So I started looking at the reference that I have over here, because I was really just having fun, what I mean? And here, let me swing this thing over. And then whenever I start to look at the reference, like I think the next day I was like, okay, well, I kind of need to pick a direction, because there's so many of these. How do you use this software? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So originally I was kind of going with this, just kind of taking elements from every single one, trying to figure out where do I want to go. I didn't have a solid direction. Like I said, it was just more of like a fun exploring, noodling around. And then ultimately I really wanted to keep this kind of like separation of this guy.
Yeah.
The irregularity of the teeth, which I haven't gotten to yet. but really focusing on, I really liked just this shape.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of symmetrical. It's a little creepy. It almost has the shell language in it, but I'm not sure I want to actually do the shell, like the kind of crustacean vibe on the actual model, but I wanted to mimic those forms, right? So I started to find this was my base finally. And then this is where we're at right now. Just blocked in some silly tentacles just to get the idea.
Yeah. One thing I like about the tentacles on some of the reference is they kind of feel like arms in a few.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
like they're
even like an elbow
coming out.
Yeah. One of them even has kind of an elbow joint.
Yeah. They move like.
Yeah.
He has some of them kind of angular.
They kind of bend. Like the one in front of his face on the top left. That guy definitely has like an arm vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the middle guy, where you're kind of getting the smile from, those also have like they feel very arm-like.
Yeah,
but they're
it just reminds me of like Terror Vision, man.
Yeah.
Just those goofy alien tentacles from the 80s.
Sick.
But yeah, I really like this image a lot for the aesthetic. It has that kind of just that big old, it almost feels like scaly and underwater. It's kind of iridescent, it's wet. These things are just massive tentacles,
and shooting lasers.
Yeah, the eyeballs gotta shoot lasers. And this guy,
I love that dude.
Yeah, he's got some jewelry on and shit.
He's got a Jabba vibe.
He's awesome, dude.
He's drunk.
But also the one I'm keeping from this, I'm gonna try and get in some of the sinewy separated skin. I'm not sure about like any of the secondary forms. I don't know if I want to do spikes, or if I want to do bumps or anything like that. So really, what I wanted to do was kind of have this as my just go-to base,
a little bit
and do some versions. Like you would, right? Like you would in the actual workflow, like, okay, give them one that's a little this, a little that, a little wee wee, little woo woo,
a little wee wee, and a little woo woo. Yeah, you got one piece of advice I'd give to anybody who's going to be doing creature sculpting is like get your sculpt up to a point and then version up, because you might have to go back and like attempt some different things on, So you're gonna have to try some stuff. All right, let's get fired up. Put on some spooky music.
Some Slayer.
So Slayer. We would get a strike.
We would get a slap on the digital wrist.
They would call your mother.
Oh no.
And tell her how disappointed they are.
That's bad.
They would.
She's already so disappointed.
Yeah. So I saw one question about anatomy, like any anatomy advice that I would give to a beginner. And I'm going to put my guy up just real quick because I made a PureRef file that's like a master anatomy file. And let me hide. Let's go to window, minimize. There we go. So I've got this master anatomy file that I'm building out. I have tons and tons of anatomy reference, but this is the first time I've actually just decided to put it all in PureRef. So the first thing I would say is like start collecting a lot of reference, just as much reference as you can, and everything from like proportions to hands to upper legs. Now, a lot of these are like anatomy courses that I took over the years. Scott Eaton's anatomy course is like, he's a master class. So I took that and a lot of these reference images come from his class. So that's kind of where I grabbed a lot of this. But then there's a lot of reference that I've just collected over the years of, dancers and ballet and or athletes. Like I have this there's this Olympic photo shoot that they did of all of these Olympic athletes, and you can basically get a sense of all their different body types And this is just awesome because you have like everything from like skinny and tall and buff to like short and stacked, to like really muscular women, to like really slender guys, because swimmers have different proportions, or wrestlers, or kayakers. So there's like, this is just an amazing group of reference. Like this dude, weightlifting dude, right? Not a shredded dude, you know? But like these guys, bodybuilding is a totally different sport, right? So it just changes the body style. So my advice is start collecting reference, collected a lot of it. And then, of course, my friends at Anatomy for Sculptors buy their books.
Yeah, their books are incredible.
Their books are incredible.
Their website is great too, man.
Yeah, they have this. Let me see. Minimize this again. Let me see if I can get it going. There we go. But they have and it's not working right now, of course. But they have an écorché model in 3D, and so I recommend that, like looking at that as well. So you got to do your, you got to eat your vegetables and do your homework, and that's how you get good. And just do it a lot.
Just
do a
lot
of
anatomy. Over and over and over and over again.
Over and over and over.
Yeah, one thing that really helped me whenever I was learning, because I struggled quite a bit because I just didn't know anything about it, and all of the images look different because every muscle is in a different state.
Yeah.
And watching, videos or films of people exercising or Olympics or whatever it is, and seeing how the body changes and moves, you can start to understand, okay, so whenever you're looking for reference down the line for specific projects, you're like, his arm is going to be twisted this way. I need some reference with the arm kind of twisted just to see the pop and some of that musculature.
Yeah.
To whereas before you know what any of it does, like everyone's ripped whenever you're sculpting, right? It's like,
yeah, the first thing I see with students when they take my class is everybody does a super shredded dude.
Yeah.
They all look like, écorché models because they're super, super shredded. And there are things not just on top of muscle, there's fascia and fat and skin as well. So those also change the shape of the muscles. So it's not just, doing super tight, shredded anatomy. You got to think about all the stuff that's on top of it as well.
Shredded.
Get shredded wheat. There. Scaling up his eyes a little bit, making him a little bit more. He's gonna have to be friendly, but he could look menacing.
Yeah, like at any moment, he's like, "Hey, man, don't mess with me."
He's Goliath, dude. He's the leader. I notice he's also got some like bony protrusions on the outer part, right there on the outer ridge of his eye. So I want to kind of get those in too.
Oh yeah, like the eyebrow, like that bone.
The zygomatic ridge, the orbital ridge of your socket. So Matt, what Elden Ring has taken over my feed. I was wondering, I wanted, you're a Dark Souls guy, you're a Bloodborne guy. How are you liking Elden Ring? I mean, you played it for 40 hours.
Well, like we've established, it's terrible, and I hate it.
You don't like it very much.
No, it's fantastic, man. I mean, it's great. It's absolutely massive. Like, still discovering new worlds every day. Like, what the hell's going on?
I am struck that how different people's experiences are so far.
Mm-hmm.
like nobody's really had the same thing going on.
How so?
Well, some people are just like, they're like, I'm going to go this way. And then they're like, 40 hours later, I'm still going this way.
Yeah, that's just, the game is so new that there's no information out there. It's just like the old days, you know what I mean? Like
it's a little bit like the Wild West.
Yeah, we got it day one, and you got to just sit down and play the damn game. And like, hey, what's up here? Oh no, we probably shouldn't come back here for a very long time.
By the time I actually get to play it, all that information will be out.
It's going to be great.
I did buy it.
It's because you're smart.
I did buy it. Like it is real. It is sitting on my shelf. And now it's going to get ignored for a very long time.
And that's okay.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, you know, you need to. It needs to be the right time.
I felt that way about Bloodborne.
Yeah, you don't want to rush things like that.
You know.
Didn't you start playing Bloodborne like 2 years ago?
Yeah, like years after it already came out. Yeah. And there was already a bunch of like walkthroughs, and everybody was like, they're at the part where they're like making memes, you know, like third, fourth tier memes about it. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's all in jokes to people who played the game 100 times already. Olsen, you know, beating that game so many times.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I have Olsen to thank for.
He put you on that, didn't he?
The endless nagging to get on Dark Souls, and whenever I because I played Bloodborne. I played the first part of Bloodborne like 10 times over the course of a year, and then I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't want to. Yeah, there comes a point when you're playing Bloodborne and you're like through your 15th run.
Yeah.
Of the beginning stage, and you're like, why am I playing this? What is the point? And then all like right when you hit that point, suddenly you get a little further, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I get it now. And
yeah,
like it took me forever to figure out that like you had to go back and save your echoes.
Oh yeah.
And I remember like that when I had that epiphany, I was like, oh, I get it now. And then suddenly I started like getting better.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like those games are so deep that you're learning things like, I mean, just like today, I'm just learning basic mechanics of the game, like almost 50 hours in. I'm like, oh, damn, that's how you do that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like their philosophy as a gaming, you know, company, they really seem different. Like most games like are like hold your hand through like, hey, welcome to our game. This is the world. This is the map. This is
how you crouch, and this is how you jump and stuff like that.
You know, craft your items to you know, to make new things, and you're like, okay, cool. And then FromSoft is just like, here's
a boss that you won't be able to beat.
Yeah, like, it's gonna make you really mad, and you're gonna die a lot.
Yeah, literally 4 minutes into the game, you're like, why did I buy this game?
You're like, and I don't know what it is, but you keep going back.
Well, it's like I was saying, it's just reminiscent of those old school games, man. Like that's how Sonic was.
Yeah.
You play Sonic for like 5 hours as a kid. Yeah. You get to the very last level, you die. You have to start all the way over, and it's like, okay.
They really they force memory. They put what is it? They force you to memorize everything.
Oh yeah.
They really, really want you to like to deep dive, to learn. And I think the other thing that keeps you going is seeing the community as well.
Because yeah, dude.
People will post this wild stuff, and you're like, wait, that's what's going to be that's what's waiting for me? Oh my God, I have to keep going.
And also, you know, like Miyazaki, the creator of it, he is just a psycho. Like he's like in interviews, he's like, no, like you don't understand. Like I am a masochist. These like
I have heard that. I heard
this
that
is
quote.
this is my lifestyle, and I want to make the hardest, most punishing games possible.
Bless him for that.
Yeah,
People love it. Like maybe there's been too much coddling in games.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. You know, I remember it was like in the Resident Evil series, whenever they came out with autosave, I'm like, dude, you are defeating the entire purpose of Resident Evil right now. You're supposed to be worried to death that you have to make it to a save point.
You have to be very, very angry all the time. And maybe in a way that anger is a motivator.
Yeah.
To keep going.
You know, fear is the greatest motivator.
Fear is the mind killer. All right, so I think I'm going to put a tail in.
Tailtown?
I think it's Tailtown time. So to do that, to put a little tail in there.
Give me some tail.
Look at that juicy booty. He's got a meaty booty.
Those hammies.
You know, he's essentially, I figured out, he's essentially just doing squats.
Yeah, he's just ripped all day because of his
ripped, and he's doing squats, you know, up and down. So yeah, he's gonna be huge. And like, look at him compared to like all the other gargoyles.
I know, dude.
Because like you have, you know, Broadway and Hudson, who are like kind of the same body type, kind of like big roundy dudes, kind of big bear-like dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Lexington, he's the little guy, and then Brooklyn. Brooklyn's the most like gargoyle looking.
Hey, I'm walking here.
I'm walking over here. And then Demona, who's like, you know, she's tough. But she's like also got that heroic body type. But like then there's Goliath, and Goliath is like all shoulders.
He's literally a Goliath.
Yeah. He's literally like he's a pair of shoulders and a belt.
He is a pair of shoulders, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Goliath. I was my kid was asking, you know, what I'm doing today, and I'm like, buddy, I'm going to do Goliath, and he's like, what is that? So I showed him Goliath, and he thought it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Has he seen the TV show at all?
I showed him the intro, and then I'm going to try and get him watching the cartoon tomorrow.
Yeah, the remake of Evil Dead.
The remake, yes.
He's at a good age.
he's at that age where you just have to show him Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm. You know, they gotta be prepared.
Got to be prepared, you know. Otherwise, you know, he needs to know that the Deadites are waiting.
Yeah.
So for tail, I'm just going to stick with a pretty easy thing. Just what's going on? I messed something up.
Oh man, someone's playing Elden Ring. Where are you at?
Let's see.
We are going to turn this stream into Elden Ring.
Elden
Ring bragging.
Weird.
What'd you do, Jared?
I don't know. It like snapped shut on me, so I'm gonna.
Oh.
That's weird.
Like it's all of it. It's frozen.
Yeah, it kind of like froze a little bit.
That's not good. Oh, there's that noise.
There's that noise. We all know that noise. Maybe my keyboard got stuck.
Everybody knows that noise.
There it is.
Oh, did you save it?
Yep.
Nice.
Quick save.
Yeah, that hey I'm dying, I'm gonna save your file feature is awesome now.
Lifesaver, man.
Yeah. Like how did they pull that off? like there are still times, like 10% of the time, where if it's crashing, you won't get that quick save. But man, maybe even 5%. But it's like, dude, that's a great feature.
Covered tool. There we go. You know, I think it was the Z-Sphere that did it.
Just couldn't handle the sphere.
Can't handle the sphere, man. Well, you know, I thought I would try it, and now we're back.
Save it down.
Save it down.
Save it down.
Just throw a little Z-sphere action in there, and then that's pretty much it. And then we'll go to adaptive skin and turn off the Dynamesh resolution, and then you get geometry.
Nice.
Make Polymesh 3D. We'll append that boy back in there. Then delete that Z-tool and never see it again.
Feels good.
Z-sphere. Bye, Z-sphere.
Feels good.
And remesh that boy in half. There you go. Nice little polish. Pretty much it. Now we've got some geo in there for that. So I played Elden Ring for 30 minutes.
Oh, man.
And
they were like, here you go. Make your character. And you were like,
yeah.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here. This is too much.
I made my guy and I went outside and I looked at the world and I went, this is awesome. And then I had to go to bed.
I love how I posted the picture of my character and you said, Jesus, what is wrong with him? You got to make him look awful.
Did you stuck with that too, right?
Oh, yeah, dude. Hammy Tamblin.
Hamby Tamblin. Because I made a guy and he looks, he looks too normal.
How? How does he? Jared Krichevsky. How did you make a normal ass dude in Elden Ring?
I don't want to make an ugly guy because then I have to look at him.
You actually don't. Armor covers your body the entire time.
Really?
That's kind of the funniest part is you spend like 2 hours and create a character that it's like, here you go. And you're just covered in armor, full face shield. And you're like, well.
And you're like, well, okay. Because I was thinking about like his pore, like how much blush he's got on.
Yeah, dude. And you've got to because you need to be committed.
You have to be committed. All right. So, what do you think? That tail like long enough? Is that too long?
Well, let's see that side. What's side ref?
See, do we have? There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
That's pretty good. Maybe a little longer at the end. We are gargoyles. We are gurgles.
Big bad Beetlebugs.
That was rad. That was like tail end of like the Saban.
Yeah, the kind of Power Rangers era of like cartoons and live action.
Question was, where will you both render this model? So I'll to start. I'm just gonna do like some Keyshot renders of the guy because it'll allow me to do more moody stuff. But as I start kind of pushing this further, it's all the same really, with some minor differences. I've been playing around with Marmoset and both Marmoset and Blender. So because I've been diving deeper into Substance Painter, because for my job, like what I do day to day, I'm not full out texturing character,
right?
So I don't get to use a lot of that stuff day to day. So for me to I have to learn something new. I have to really dedicate some time and be like, okay, time to learn this stuff. So I've been, so I bought Marmoset, and then I have a model that I've pretty much done some textures for, and that's going to be kind of my testing model. Like when I open up a new program, I'm going to test this model in that program just to see like comparisons from side to side. You like,
like render quality and stuff.
Yeah, like here it is in Marmoset, here it is in Blender, here it is in Unreal, or here it is in Stager.
Right.
I tried to open Stager, but my version was a little buggy. It wasn't working. So I definitely want to try Stager. But pretty much like once you learn, how to plug everything in, most programs are going to be kind of the same.
Yeah, I'm almost obligated to do animation on this model and have him kind of floating around with the tentacles kind of moving.
Would you you would have to bone pose those guys, right? Like just pose them out straight?
Oh yeah, it'd be pretty simple. I mean, you make one model, duplicate it around all straight, and make the joints dynamic and move your guy up and down, Maybe.
Oh, that's right. So it would just kind of follow your route.
Yeah, because I'll make them dynamic like IK bones or whatever. And
okay. So your guy's floating around.
He's it's like an idle animation.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Lord knows I might not get around to that. But
and you want to 3D print them, and
well, yeah, I mean that has to happen. I mean, 3D.
You got to 3D print
thing now. Yeah.
I will probably dust off the 3D printer for this guy.
Awesome, dude.
I mean, if I can, at least if nothing else, I'm gonna do. I'll print his head, or I'll print a bust or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the head looks great.
I don't have a giant 3D printer yet.
Wouldn't that be nice if someone that I knew personally that was myself had one?
That would be cool. I would also like a giant 3D printer.
Yeah.
Because I love 3D printers. But,
yeah, I hadn't been able to print this last week. It's been getting too cold, but going to start resuming here probably end of this week. I'm going to be looking into the whole like molding and casting thing.
Yeah. I'll send you some links on that, like some good tutorials about it.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Yeah, it is a process, and you'll have to buy some wet clay.
Cool.
Because that's kind of what they use, because it's the fastest kind of clay that you can put on there to make a mold. But making a mold it's an ordeal. You should reach out to Gregor.
Yeah, definitely. I've hit him up a couple of times. I'm definitely gonna hit him up whenever I start getting into it.
Yeah. I mean, even knowing the process, like how they do it, is it's nuts.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of videos, and it's like, okay,
and you're like, oh, all right,
this is a thing, It's
gonna be an ordeal.
But I mean, once you get a solid mold, I don't have to spend $60 in cost and hundreds of hours in printing.
and those molds, they last. So, some of them will last forever. They'll last as long as they're in good condition. You'll probably do what, like a silicone mold?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Hell yeah. That'll be exciting. And then, I mean, there is nothing like seeing a resin cast.
I know, man.
Resin cast are just so.
Can't wait. Yeah, and I was thinking, I was like, dude, if this whole thing is just going to be like just solid resin, it's going to weigh like fucking 20 pounds. Like I'm going to have to.
You would have to core it.
Have to figure that out.
But honestly, I wouldn't mind the weight.
Yeah, it's just, well, the weight that it has now is fantastic, and I think with the base it'll probably be somewhere around like 8 or 9 pounds.
Because you hollowed it, right?
Mm-hmm. But if it's like, if it's just filled full of, it'd be like $200 shipping. Yeah,
that would be nuts. There are companies that you could reach out to that you can send the STL. and they'll do the whole thing for you.
Yeah, I want to. Well, obviously, I want to learn how to do it myself, so that I don't have to do that. But I was actually thinking about that because you did that with the Serpentina.
Right. And what I would say with that is, just cut it up the way you want to cut it up first before you send it off. Because I had them cut it up, and the way they cut it up just made very little sense.
Yeah, no sense.
And so it was, and that was a learning lesson. I was like, oh, well, then now I know. Just do it the way that I would do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just.
But yeah,
I completely understand. But I'm definitely gonna take as much time as I can this year to learn how to mold and replicate my stuff.
Well, I mean, and once you know how to do it, you can make all kinds of casts, and then from different resins and different materials. Can you imagine like doing a clear cast? Like do a clear cast with like a green tint to it. Even if it was, it would be sick. It would be super sick. All right, so now he's got the tail. He's full on kangaroo man.
Love some kangaroo man.
He's I didn't realize like how kangaroo he is, but that's kind of what he is. Is he's a kind of a hodgepodge of different animals, kind of smashed together.
Yeah, just a little chimeric.
Little chimeric. Chimeric Eric.
One word of the day, chimeric Eric.
Chimeric Eric. Your local barber.
Your local farmer.
Your local farmer.
Chimeric Eric.
Chimeric Eric. He's a good guy. Just a little chimeric.
He's a little chimeric.
He's a little chimeric. Good dude though.
I mean, he's got his heart in the right place.
He's he's great to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, he always has some sort of funny story, or he's just really down to earth guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty. We've been friends for a long time.
I mean, I've known him for a very long time.
I've known him even longer than that.
See, because I thought we were twins in the womb.
Oh,
we
wow!
Got separated at birth.
That's funny because I'm his father.
Oh man,
that's how I knew him.
You are my dad.
He spawned from my loins. We all go a little mad sometimes.
I like it.
What? Oh man, what else? The Batman
comes out Friday. We're going
Friday.
Gotta go. I like how I said we're going. I wish
we're going. I know, as if we don't live thousands of miles apart.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for this one.
I want to see it. I want to know. I am one of those guys. I try and go in as naked as possible on stuff like this.
I
want it to be a brand new thing.
Normally I don't care about spoilers or reading any of that stuff. Like, No Way Home, I didn't care about any of the spoilers, but this one I've done my best to avoid everything.
Mm-hmm.
If they play a new clip, I'm like, great. I don't want to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've just read like headlines. Oh, trailer with Catwoman or whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Catwoman's in it. Okay.
Trailer with Wendy's drive-thru. Yeah. That's all I know. Is that he goes and gets Wendy's at some point.
Does he actually get Wendy's?
No.
Oh man.
No.
I was about to be bummed out that I knew that ahead of time. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Do you remember? I don't remember. But when they were doing the campaign for Batman, Tim Burton's Batman.
Oh yeah.
He was going through a McDonald's drive-through.
Dude, I had the mugs.
The mugs were the cups, the super cups.
Yeah. Were the big. I had the Two-Face one.
Yes.
And the coins like flipping around the whole damn thing was cool.
It was really, really cool. Like, you know, that was the kind of the invention of the hype machine right there. Was
oh yeah, big time.
Big time. And that, you know, I was pretty young. I remember I saw the first Batman in theaters, the Tim Burton.
Yeah, and they did that. They did the same thing with A New Hope.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Taco Bell had all of those toys.
Yes,
all of those crazy
they did the
toys.
re-releases as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember going to the special editions of Star Wars when they re-released those in theaters.
Dude, I remember that too. I saw it at our Dome theater.
When they had they added the brand new CGI effects.
Oh my god, yeah.
And that was a whole gimmick. And I was a massive Star Wars fan, so I bought all that shit.
Oh, of course.
Because you had to.
Yeah.
And this was back when, you know, it was not cool to like those things.
That is true, and that is trippy. That, like, you know, one of my best friends out here has a, I don't know, 12-year-old daughter, and just getting to meet people like in that age group, and how everything that kids used to get beat up for is now cool, like watching anime. Watching anime, liking Star Trek, liking Star Wars, you know, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone grew up and was like, you know what? Screw that. It is cool to like this.
It is cool to like this. And they're right. It is. It's very
absolutely
cool. It's just wild to kind of witness that, you know, stuff that like you and your friends would like hang out after school and talk about, but you never talked about it, you know, or in school because you get your ass beat. And wild times. My kid has watched like every Marvel movie.
That's incredible.
I mean, the kid doesn't even know how lucky he is that he gets to sit there and watch Ant-Man.
I know, dude. I remember being at the comic book store just by myself all day. My dad would just drop me off.
Yep.
And I would just read comics all day. And whenever he'd come pick me up, I'd just be in the car and I'd be like, man, I can't wait for a Venom and a Spider-Man movie and a Carnage movie. I can't wait to see all, you know, hopefully I want to see, you know, more Mortal Kombat movies and stuff like that. And then 20 years later, you know,
and
it's happening.
It's crazy because like now when you know there's a property you love, you go, well, it's not just, you know, it's just a matter of when they're going to make it.
Yeah.
Because at some point they're going to make it.
Yeah, because they're making the Dungeons and Dragons show now, I think.
Yeah. Or Daredevil and Punisher.
Oh man, yeah.
Even
Punisher show,
you know, dudes that were like C-list superheroes have really awesome shows, and they're really, really good.
Yeah,
I used to. They just went off of Netflix, and they're going to be on Disney Plus again.
Yeah, right.
Because I just finished season 2 of my Daredevil rewatch.
Was it daring?
It was. Well, I was like hoping to finish it before they took it off, and now I gotta wait 15 days. You know, because it's just hell on earth.
It's just awful.
It's not fair. I have to find out I have to watch, you know, one of a million other things.
Everything is bad.
Like, it's all bad. But the Batman, starring Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
If you had told me years ago that the Twilight guy would be playing probably one of the best Batmans.
Mm-hmm. Probably one of the best Batmans. You're feeling it.
I am feeling it.
You're feeling it.
I am feeling it, and I love. Let me put it this way: I loved Nolan's Batman trilogy.
Yeah,
loved it.
Did you like Batfleck?
Here's what I think about Batfleck: is he's an amazing Bruce Wayne.
I love Ben Affleck as fucking Batman, dude.
And I'll say this: when he's in the full armor, against Superman.
Oh yeah,
Like
come on.
I was feeling it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that was like, okay, I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm into it.
I'm in like Flint. No, you're right. He is an incredible, like, kind of broken down Bruce Wayne.
Hey, here's the thing: is like he looks like Bruce Timm drew it.
Yeah, dude.
Like that's what trips me out about Snyder's Justice League is his like the shapes that like he got Ben Affleck to look like Batman, or you know, all the work he did. I mean, it's crazy.
Dude, the biggest thing that trips me out about is it Batman versus Superman where he has the nightmare?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That whole sequence.
So I mean, the sequence is incredible, but I mean, in theaters, I noticed this: the stunt double guy that does all of the fighting work, his mouth is huge, like, and he's like this, and it's like his mouth. It looks like. I'm like, bro, that is not Ben Affleck.
No.
It's not something that anyone else would really notice unless you're in the industry like we are. It's like, okay, like
you just kind of pick out those little.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, this guy, he's got a big mouth.
This dude has got the mouth.
But he's got the Batman mouth.
You think he was cast for that mouth?
I think the mouth is what sold him.
I mean, because anyone can find a guy the size of Ben Affleck, but like the mouth is what, you know.
It's all about that.
Maybe it was a skinny dude who was wearing a mask, like a Ben Affleck mask, and the mouth of the Ben Affleck mask made him look like he had a huge mouth.
Yeah, I mean that's stretching it, but you know, I'll entertain the thought.
I'm going along with it because it's stupid.
I like it because it is stupid. Absolutely.
It's a stupid thing that you said. But I like it, so I'm going with it. Yeah, I loved I mean, dude, and then Michael Keaton's coming back.
Oh my god. I know, man, it's incredible.
Are you like, I'm so, because like your first reaction when you hear this is like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings.
I don't know, like
part of me is like, I'm so tired because they're, you know, because of course they're gonna bring him back.
But it's Michael Keaton, man. It's Batman. It's Michael Keaton.
It's Batman. Well, and now he's gonna be in Batgirl. And he's in he's gonna be in Batgirl, and he's in the Flash movie.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were talking about, was the Flash movie.
Yeah. I mean,
because they're kind of adapting the Flashpoint, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is arguably one of the coolest,
one of the greatest like timeline. It's like the Flash's main kind of storyline that he goes through.
It's just it is always funny, like trying to. I was actually thinking about this today. I was thinking about the Riddler in the new Batman movie, and I was like, you know, the source material it's so difficult, you know, because it was all like based in the 50s and like migrated throughout the 80s and 90s, and like the designs are ridiculous and some of the purposes are ridiculous, you know, and it's like people are like, well, the Riddler doesn't look cool, and I'm like, well, he doesn't look like
you're not gonna put the Riddler
stupid green leotard with a question mark on him.
Yeah, you're not gonna do that.
It's not Bozo the Clown, bro.
The tone of the whole thing would shift dramatically. You know, the last time they put him in a leotard, it was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You know, and those movies are bad.
Yeah.
They're just bad Batman.
I probably saw it 100 times though.
I probably did. I think those movies are closer to like Adam West in spirit.
Yeah. They've got that kind of like chalky, campy kind of
full on.
Like, dude, Batman and Robin, they're crawling up the metal structure that's rusty and has holes, and he goes, "Holy rusted metal, Batman!
Holy rusted rock, Batman!" And you're like, "Oh my god!"
They wrote that in 1915.
I think maybe we weren't ready. I think maybe it could work today. Like if you explained it, like, oh, this is the multiverse, silly Batman,
right?
Maybe it could work today. But audiences were not ready for that shit.
Yeah.
They were not ready. They were very unhappy. And then that was also the era of bat nipples.
Yeah, dude, love me some bat nips.
They're classic now. Now they're like, you have to put nipples on them.
And we had Val Kilmer as Batman.
Yeah, that was cool.
Val Kilmer.
I mean,
what a weird guy.
Well, Forever. That was Batman Forever.
Yeah.
And Kilmer's trying to do his best to like be a serious Batman, I think, in an unserious Batman movie.
Yeah.
I
also think that was like the point of his career where he was like starting to go just full blown crazy.
Yeah. There is something that happens to actors.
Oh man, it's crazy to watch.
It is weird to watch when they have, because their job is literally being other people.
Is to pretend like they have emotions.
Yeah. Well, you exercise so many emotions, eventually you just become drained of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of funny to hear Tom Holland talking about filming No Way Home, because he's like, I was doing this scene with Toby and Andrew, and it's just like, it's a really an emotional scene, and I've been crying for weeks. Like, can you imagine just going to work every day and just crying?
Yeah, dude. Day? Like reading about that, like, well,
40 hours.
I immediately think of Shelley Duvall in The Shining.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, imagine, like, you would quit.
And Kubrick, who's really taunting her to get that performance out. I mean, yeah, screw that.
Yeah.
But you imagine this, 40 hours a week, and you're just like,
yeah.
Oh,
not good.
That would be a nightmare, man. Okay, so I've been sculpting on a foot for a while.
You going to foot?
I think I'm ready to duplicate some toes.
We like that.
We like them toes. There's a question, which was, are you both doing retopo on this models or use ZRemesher?
Oh, just ZRemesher.
Yeah, for real. Like, unless it's production, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time doing retopo.
And also, just on that note, depending on what kind of production it is, you can absolutely just ZRemesh stuff. Like,
you absolutely know there. I mean, the biggest like areas that need fixing.
Yeah, I mean, you'll just go in and
eyes, nose, ears, mouth. That's it.
Just go in there and fix that shit afterwards, but you've got 90% of it done.
Yeah, or fingers. Fingers, hands, things like that. Like you can get away with a lot on the body.
Yeah, and again, it's just like, what is the shot? What is the, I mean, sometimes they just need to look good turning a head, or they just need to be in the shot.
Yeah, you don't need to like go sculpting 450 blend shapes for a character if they're not, if they're not really featured like that. At least I don't think you would need to.
That's accurate.
Thank you. I teach at a visual effects school. Okay, so I've been working on this foot. I've got his like toes. I've pretty much like blocked out his like meaty, the knuckle, like really finding the knuckle in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate that foot over and rotate it. And pretty much just move it into place. Because now you can see I've got, now I've got like a double foot.
Yeah.
I've got 2 feet in there. But I'm just going to delete the rest. If you can save yourself the time, it's worth it.
It's a good technique.
It's one of my, me, like for years, that's been my favorite kind of thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's just duplicate fingers and toes.
Yep. It's the way forward.
It's the way forward. Save yourself the time. Oops. Cut that off. Whee. So now they have the knife tool, which is just like amazing.
Yeah, that thing is dope.
That it's also huge lifesaver.
Yeah, I mean, especially in Dynamesh land, it's just like, here we go. Like,
if you just need to cut something up, boom.
Yeah, I remember like 7 years ago, you're like, how do I punch a hole out of something? And you're like, well, you got to duplicate this and then subgroup that, and then you got to Dynamesh this and merge it down, and then hopefully it won't crash. And you're like, now you can just like do it. It's like
it really does move at the speed of kind of your, like what you want to do.
Yeah.
Speed of your imagination.
The speed of what you want to do.
Speed of your hams in the palm of your hand.
The palm of your hand.
Palm of your finger place. But like, best way to just like, because you don't want to sculpt. I don't want to sculpt a million toes.
Yeah.
Over and over. So I was like, what is a way that I can do this where I don't have to sculpt the same toe over and over again? And now we're there. Like,
yeah, I mean, by the time I get to actually popping in some serious teeth on this guy, I'll probably just do like 1 or 2 teeth and just pop them all around.
Exactly. No need to sculpt each tooth from scratch. Like, save yourself the time. So speaking of time, it's 9 o'clock. Let's do a check-in. Matt, how's it going? Let's check in with Matt.
Oh, pretty good, man. I have split off the kind of, skeletal jaw piece from the flesh here.
Nice.
And I've been pumping in some just anatomy on the inside. I want to keep this kind of ribbed octopus like wrinkle language.
I like that a lot.
I'll probably keep them nice and smooth and wrinkly. You know what I mean?
And then, are you gonna have those webbings coming over like the back end of his teeth?
I'm thinking, like right in here, like this area. And we'll see how it looks. But I'm really just kind of, I'm fleshing out just profile, this kind of brain skull shape, and then we're wrapping into maybe some, haven't gotten all the way down here yet, but more abdomen kind of cephalopod kind of feeling language under here, maybe a little more insectoid, but I want to get the whole thing like really sculpted in, looking,
really tight.
Yeah, super nice and tight, and then print out a weird thing.
Pop it off. Do some versions of it.
Yeah, I'll probably start with scales.
Yeah, because you got to try it out. You got to try the scale.
Probably start with scales, and then maybe I'll add some spikes just to change the whole head shape and stuff like that. But yeah, so far it's kind of one of those fun base projects to where you can just pop it open one day and be like, well, what if it was this kind of language?
I mean, you can make an army of beholders.
Yeah, the Beholden.
The Beholden. It's a cool title.
The Beholden.
The Beholden. All right. Well, looking great, dude.
Thank you, man.
All right. So let's check in where I'm at with my boy. Now I've got the feet going.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you got the claws going out.
Now the claws are in there. The feet are blocked in. It'll be time to kind of like merge everything together and then build the strength out of the feet, because the feet really have to feel strong.
Yeah.
That's something I see with a lot of students is they don't really consider the feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of noticed this, but his and it's probably the perspective of the image that I'm using.
Like it hooks in.
Yeah, well, just that it hooks down a little bit, so I'm gonna do that. So just mask off this area, kind of bend it down a little bit. But also, it looks like his calf muscles are a little long.
Oh yeah.
Just a little. And maybe it's the. Yeah, see, they're not that long. So I'm gonna shorten those up. This is taking like kind of the biggest chunk of time is getting the legs. Getting the legs looking right.
Yeah, it's always hard going, I mean, it's a concept like this to where some people would look at it and be like, oh yeah, I mean, that's a fully realized character. But the second you're trying to replicate it like this, it's like, what does any of this language mean? They're 2D images that aren't perfect from every angle. They're just representations.
Yeah, someone drew them.
Yeah, so you got to find that happy medium and use your experience and reference to really kind of
you have to kind of like, okay, where is this the drawing, where is this the where do I switch off here, because like now even the feet look a little big, and one thing I really don't like is like when the feet get like bell bottomy, like really big,
right?
So it's like balancing out those elements. Like even here they seem a little small, but like also he's got to have toes. He's got to have like real looking toes.
The boy needs toes.
My boy needs toes, and we got to treat those toes right.
We got to pamper those boys.
Got to pamper those boys. There we go.
They need to know that they are loved.
So now I've kind of like stretched out the leg a little bit more. That feels a little better.
Okay, nice.
And then I think it's time to start working on the hand, and then sync a little bit more of anatomy together. But we're rocking and rolling. That's coming together, and then next week I'll we'll take a break from Goliath, and I'm going to show some posing with that other creature, the subterranean guy.
Oh, cool.
Because what I want to do is I want to take a bunch of them, pose them up, put them in a scene together. Now that the textures are done, actually like pose up and do some keyframes.
Yeah, that'll be cool, man.
It'll be fun.
Really cool.
It'll be really cool. We're gonna have a good time. Maybe buy him dinner.
Yeah, maybe
out for the night.
If I have some time outside of my very strenuous Elden Ring schedule, I might just texture this guy up and get him rendered and posed too. Kind of walk through that.
You should. I mean, your pipeline is probably super fast at this point for getting that stuff done.
Oh yeah, man. It's just, yeah. You have to do something so many times. You're just like, okay.
it just becomes like, okay, now I do this. Now I do this. You get your checklist kind of done.
It always is trippy though, hopping into Maya. It's always like, oh yeah, I forgot
everything.
I forgot about all this stuff.
Yeah, I want to get back into learning Maya again.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's great.
And then also, I'm gonna do it. I've been learning. I've been doing some tutorials and stuff like that, but I gotta do a deep dive into Unreal now.
Yeah, I spent some time in Unreal earlier this year, and I got my little lizard boy on a rig and had him running around in the engine. It was really fun.
Did you build him a little like run cycle, or did you animate that?
No, because you just use the Unreal rig. Well, I mean, I didn't use the Unreal rig, but you have to set it up a way to where it corresponds with the rig that they give you.
Okay.
And then you can take that character if it's like scaled or transposed or whatever, as long as the hierarchy is correct and stuff like that, you'll be able to just pop it in a character cycle. So you can just
No
pull
way.
in,
That's
you can pull
awesome.
in animation. So then you just press spacebar and your dude's running around and you're like jumping around and shit. But I actually had Unreal open yesterday. I desperately need to dive in. I want to do like I feel like the Cthulhu scene would be a good scene to do in Unreal. Get some of those big
Dude.
rocks and some water and set up some cameras. You know what I mean?
Set up some rain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched some of Josh Herman's streams, but he's setting up a scene with like lightning and thunder, and
that is just insane. Yeah, and it's like all from
so cool.
It's all from the marketplace or community or whatever.
Yeah, it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that you can like jump in and just do that stuff really quick. I mean, that's hugely appealing.
Like, yeah, the thing. So learning Unreal from the ground up, very, what is the word? Intimidating, because, I mean, you know that whenever you open up Maya and you put an Arnold shader on, it's going to have like a diffuse parameter and a specular parameter and roughness and a bump map. But in Unreal, like from the ground up, you have to build your master materials. So you actually have to learn kind of like a little bit of the shorthand like language and just how things pop together in the node editor. But you have to build these nodes to be like, you drop all these dots and it's like, this is a file parameter and I want to use this control to adjust the black and white level. So you have to add all of these things to enable to customize your shader. Granted, there are master materials for free that you can just download.
Stuff that you can grab and kind of dive into.
Yeah.
Interesting question here from Deviant Thermit. I think that's Thermit. Can fan art
Deviant Hermit.
Deviant. Okay. I thought it was. I didn't see the H because I'm dyslexic. Hello, can fan art be suitable to put inside a portfolio? Let's say I have several concept art from concept artists that I like and making a 3D out of this painting with credits I put on my ArtStation. Is this considered unethical or inappropriate? No, as long as you are crediting the artist and you are and you're basically saying like, I am 3D modeling this concept art. That's fine. Like you can do that. Fan art, like, do you want to put do I want to show off Goliath as a part of my portfolio? The answer is like, hell yeah. Because for one, fan art's not bad. Like it's a character. If it's a character that everybody knows, in a way, it kind of everybody knows that character, so it's kind of a shortcut. And they're looking at your execution. It's like, can you make a realistic looking Goliath, or can you demonstrate that you can throw a character into Unreal or a rendering package? Do you know the texture pipeline? Things like that. So they don't. I don't think they really care if you're doing fan art. What I think what is unethical or getting you into trouble is that if you're stating that this is my own IP, right? Like this is a character that I 100% created from my brain, and that's not true. You're copying from somebody else. That's unethical. Or taking anybody else's art and putting your name on top of it. That's unethical.
Yeah, it's, just to add to it, I think it's really important to note like just the context of your portfolio.
Yeah.
If you're trying to show that you can execute things, like if you want to be a modeler or a look dev artist, basically anything other than a concept artist, like that stuff is completely acceptable, because whenever we're looking at portfolios and pieces to hire, it's like, okay, so they did a Hulk. I've seen 350,000 Hulks, right? But you're gonna be like, did they execute the model? Did they do all this stuff? If you want to be a concept artist, you wouldn't want to see Wolverine, you wouldn't want to see any of those guys in your portfolio. You would want to see some concept art, unless it was like concept art you've done on those movies.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree, and then I would add that if you're showing concept art, then it's like your ideas.
Yeah.
If you are doing fan art of a character, are you doing a take that we haven't seen before?
Right.
So it's highly contextual. If you're, the studio you're applying for, whoever you're applying for,
exactly,
they're looking at like, can you work in our studio? Is your style, translatable? Like if you want to work at Blizzard, you better have the Blizzard style down, because there's a 1,000 other artists who can do that style very well.
Yeah.
So that's where you want to work. You got to get your style to match theirs. If you want to do Disney and you want to work on Encanto 2, you gotta be able to do stylized characters.
Big time, man. I've so many of my classmates just for years doing that.
That one style, man.
That one style, and it is very hard.
It is very hard.
Very hard.
I've done stylized sculpting, like that kind of character work, not on that level, and it is very hard.
Oh yeah, man. I had to do some stuff earlier last year for a Ralph Lauren commercial, and it was like, this is a nightmare.
Yeah. The other thing is like, it is really good to like learn how to do, because you can if you can balance it out, you can and do all of it, you're gonna be that much better as an artist.
Yeah, it's wild, because it's like you need to know just as much as you would have to know doing some sort of hyper real artwork. You have to know all of that stuff.
You have to know anatomy, and then you have to know really good shapes. Disney in particular, they are very particular about their shapes.
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen how they scrutinize.
I mean, they invented the shape of cartoons, basically.
Yeah. Especially like the later years now, where like the Frozen or Encanto or Wreck-It Ralph, the style is very ingrained in there now.
Loved Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph is awesome. My kid is not. It's interesting, because I'll to break it up, because I'm tired of watching the same movie over and over again. I'm like, buddy, how about we try this? And so I tried Wreck-It Ralph, and he didn't take to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm always kind of like,
give it some time.
What is it that what is he responding to?
Hey, give it some time.
In time, I think Wreck-It Ralph, for one, he doesn't get a lot of the references.
It is. It's like it's filled with references that we understand.
Yeah, like the references are for like mom and dad.
Yeah,
and he doesn't necessarily get who Zangief is, or he knows Bowser,
but like he doesn't. Was in it.
Yeah, he doesn't get like those guys, so it's not really like fun for him.
Right.
He's made me watch Soul probably 100 times by now.
Oh, the movie's gorgeous, man.
It is. It's a really beautiful movie.
It really is. I love that. I love whenever they find that perfect balance of stylized characters and hyper-realistic environments.
Yeah. The backgrounds of the environments on that in particular are just.
Yeah, I mean it's insane. Yeah.
One day we were both sick because we both got that stomach flu. So I had to pick up little dude, and we hung out all day. So he made me watch Soul, which was like the 500th time I've watched Soul.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I've watched it all the way through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that probably happens a lot, huh?
Yeah, like because he wants to watch something in the morning, and then he wants to watch stuff at night, but he doesn't usually get to make it through all of those because we've got to go or he's got to go to bed. And so that was the first time I watched Soul all the way through, and I bawled like a baby.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Because you're like, oh my god, gorgeous looking film, and the backgrounds, like you said, the hyper real backgrounds against
it's insane.
the really stylized cartoony characters.
And that's a special thing to pull off. I'm very peculiar about stuff like that, and
yeah,
I think that movie absolutely nailed it. And it was, it looked amazing. They do that in Toy Story too. I remember in the last Toy Story movie I saw. What was it? What was the last one? 4?
4.
I remember some of the environments being like, "What the hell?" Like this. Like the characters are just so stylized, but they were like, under a lawnmower or something. And I was like, dude, this looks like footage. Like
it does. And there's something interesting that happens when you put a stylized character against a really realistic background. It's less visible in Toy Story because now the toys look very realistic.
Yeah.
But like the Good Dinosaur. We watched that one.
Yeah.
And that also has like very, very cartoony characters against.
Yeah, the characters were a little too cartoony for my taste.
Here's the thing, man. I'll give it another shot.
All right.
Because it is, you know what it is? It's a Western. It's because there's some characters in there that they actually go and like rustle up some steer. They're looking for a herd, and there's a scene where there are these T-Rexes, and they start galloping, and you're like, "Oh my god!" The movie dawns on you. You're like, "It's a Western. This whole thing's been a Western this whole time." And there's some like raptors that are they're kind of like rustlers, and they steal these steer from these T-Rexes. And they're all like, "Woo, we gotta go get them!" It's awesome. So, I say give it another shot, man. It's worth another watch. I was lucky my kids only wanted to see Batman the Animated Series at their age. Yeah, that's lucky.
That's a humble brag right there.
I've tried, and it is not. I've tried to get him to stick to it. For right now, he only likes CG animated movies, which, as a CG artist, it's like, great, I get to study,
dude. Sorry, I had a thought that I held on to while you were talking about The Good Dinosaur.
You had a thought.
You were like, there's this thing that happens whenever you have these hyperreal environments in a design or in a cartoony character. And it reminded me of the original Looney Tunes cartoons, because they are full-blown cartoons, but they have these giant rendered paintings behind them. You know what I mean?
Or they'll throw like a photograph behind it.
Yeah, and it's like a completely different, we grew up kind of seeing that in different ways, so maybe that's some sort of, maybe there's something there related to that.
It's a little bit of animation history in there, perhaps. Soul is just gorgeous. The scenes where they're out on the streets of New York and they're
it's insane.
Yeah, and I'm in my head, the CG artist in me, I'm like, man, the crowd simulations and because every one of those background characters has to be designed and pipelined, and it's just bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, dude, at that point, they have tools.
They have a lot of tools that they write.
That does not mean that it's a button, man, at least, a small VFX studio like where we worked, there's no way.
There's no way. They I remember seeing how they built some tools for Monsters Inc., the Monsters University.
Oh yeah.
And they had some tools, like they would just kind of like, because they have a lot of background characters that are just walking around, so they would like build a walk cycle for them, and then they built a tool that's basically like a NURBS curve that they would just kind of travel along, and the artists could kind of pen their way around, and then they would build in like secondary reactions of like reacting to things, or it's just awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
The technical artists in CGI often get kind of overshadowed.
Yeah, I mean they're
literally making
those guys are insane.
They're literally making the movie work.
Yeah, technical artists and TDs are just absolutely insane, dude.
There's whole departments dedicated to that, and it's amazing the tools they come up with, because they're there to help the art, and it's very much a part of the, because like, you'll be animating or something that will just break.
Yeah.
And it'll just break, and their job is to go in and fix it, and they do.
Yeah, that's kind of the cool. It's always the interesting part, is those guys usually aren't artists, and I don't mean that in any sort of negative way, but they're usually not. Yeah. They're usually not art brained. They're more like engineer brained.
Yeah. Very.
And so whenever you're bringing problems to them, or to them, you're both learning at the same time, right? You're like, how do I explain like this?
Yeah,
and they're asking questions to where you're like, man, I don't know. I just painted a color and screwed it up.
I just wanted to make a giant crab. Yeah, but the TDs, man, they make everything work, and it's awesome. It is truly like, it's astounding how they do it. They're just things that, like, after working in CG for so long, you just really, like, when you watch a 3D movie, a CGI movie, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's magic. Now Kiddo's on Finding Dory.
Huh.
Because he likes the fish.
Yeah.
And so that's been fun to watch, because I enjoy like watching the octopus character, because he's so complex, and the rendering is gorgeous. Like the subsurface they got on him is just stunning.
What was
so
that?
Cool.
That octopus in yeah, that is exactly what you're. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Dora the Explorer. You're talking about
Dora the Explorer. Yeah. We watched that too. We watched that one a lot.
Because I was just about to bring up, the octopus and Finding Nemo. No, wait, Finding. Oh, okay.
It's killer, man. It's
Yeah, that's one of those infamous shots, right? It took like a year to finalize or something.
Really?
Oh, it was one of those just absolutely insane. I mean, we'll have to look it up just to get the numbers. But it was some sort of legendary, like, this took 950,000 versions or something.
Wow. I believe it, man. And from what I know of Pixar, like their kind of like working philosophy is they want everything to look good in the scene. So they want to do as little compositing as possible.
Yeah, worst day ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nightmare. That's nightmare level, dude.
Because everything has to look good in the scene.
That is just nightmare level, man.
Like
so bad. So
because like you're thinking about scene assembly, and then
you're thinking about. I mean, that's awful. It's scary.
It is. It's terrifying as an artist to think about. But at the same time, I mean, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, and I mean, I've had to talk clients out of that mentality and like show them the power of compositing, to be like, no, you don't get it. Like, we render it a certain way so that you can have full control. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
I mean, I suppose for like Pixar's kind of philosophy, you know, because they would want to be able to do multiple shots, right? You know, if they want to do a scene multiple different ways. Because I saw a making of Frozen or something like that for one scene, and they had like at least 40 different cameras in that scene.
Oh yeah.
You know, at least. That was probably the cameras that they didn't have hidden.
And that you were talking about that octopus, man, that, you know, that's one of those things to where you have like 40 different rigs just for like sequences.
Yeah.
Like here's the bottleneck rig, here's the rig for him like coming through the sewer or whatever it is. Like
they turn it off and on and blink in and out of frames or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
make out Olympics and
there's
animation.
I don't know if you've seen Encanto yet.
No, I don't. Yeah, hadn't seen it.
Here's the thing, man. Is the character animation is some of the best I've ever seen.
Now, is it a Disney movie?
It's Disney, so it's not Pixar.
Yeah, but they're singing.
They are singing. Here's the thing.
Yeah,
here's the thing.
There's nothing.
I know. But hear me out. It's actually gorgeous.
Yeah, I've seen the screen caps, and it is beautiful.
It is a gorgeous looking movie. And then what I'll say is that they have a character that's a shape changer.
Oh, cool.
And so he's literally like morphing into other characters as they're doing it. I'm like, my God, how are they doing it? Nightmare stuff.
Technical artists.
Technical artists, man. And it is so gorgeous. And that's the thing is like, even though we make monsters, you know, we're doing horrific stuff. You can absolutely take a lot of that knowledge and apply it to what we're doing
everywhere. Yeah.
You know, it's like good knowledge is good knowledge.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It's really like, you know, they drew their characters like I'm talking about Disney and stuff like that. Like whenever you see a character visually, you know if that character is smart, strong, dumb, goofy, or sleek. Like just the shape language, like the oval head, he's going to be a little goofy. Like the blockier head, the stronger chin, he's going to be, you know, a muscle man. It's like that kind of stuff. You can apply that like
the shape
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Deckard Deckard versus, I guess. He says he worked at Pixar and the technical pool there is crazy good. Awesome. I imagine. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I like Matt. Does a part of you ever want to work at a place like Disney, Pixar, or DreamWorks, that kind of stuff?
No.
You want to do that cartoony stuff?
No.
What if it was like a cartoony Batman?
So the thing is, I would only work for a place like that if I could do concept art or art direction.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be production side on anything like that.
Because that's got to be nuts.
I mean, I'll do it freelance, but I don't know about if I need the money, I'll do something like that. But it's, yeah, I'm just every day
firmly not grounded in the cartoony world.
No, production wise, no. I mean, I don't want to do production work hardly at all. I just want to do concept work, you know.
Yeah,
I have to do production work to get money sometimes. But those are actually the jobs that I turned down. I've had a couple of interviews with who was it? One of those studios, one of those animated studios, and they're like, hey, you know, we think you'd be really good for this project. And it was like a cool project, but I was like, this is not my style, like at all. Yeah. I'm not going to do production work on this stuff. You know, I mean, I could, you know, produce some images, but
I would take it probably as far as character art, you know, building the model, and that's about it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no one's hiring me to, you know, animate for one.
Yeah, that is where I get confused. Is sometimes I get those emails and those interviews, and I'm like, what portfolio did you look at? Like, am I the same person that you saw with all of the scary monsters trying to do a
yeah, like
animated TV show about some family friendly stuff?
What in my portfolio made you think that I can do this?
Yeah.
I believe you could do anything you want.
Oh, I mean, I have no doubt. It's really
it's just like the motivation has to be right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just at the point in my career to where I just pick and choose everything. I'm like, if I'm gonna enjoy doing it, I'll do it.
I agree. Yeah, because the job is taxing enough already.
Yeah, self-care, man. Gotta watch out for that stuff. Like, you don't want to get that contract that's 6 months long and you're, making rocks for 8 hours a day. It's like, bro, I'm gonna kill myself. It's ridiculous.
Hey, and no shame if you love the rocks. That because some people love.
Hey, man, rocks. Environment artists are some of the most wonderful people that have ever existed. I am not that person.
We're built different, Matt. We're creature guys.
That's right.
We're a little bit rock and roll.
We saw the Predator shoot that dude's arm off in the first movie, and we were like, I kind of like this.
Yeah. For me, it was The Fly when arm wrestling and he rips the dude's arm off. That was kind of like, this is me.
This is what I like.
That stuck with me for a very long time, and I went, this is what I love. The question is this going to be an actual character model? Well, I'm going to design it and pretty much do some stills with it. I'm not taking this for production level. This is mostly, for concept. One, I just want to show people that like you can make a photorealistic looking Goliath, with some believable anatomy. And plus, like, I love the character, so I'm gonna do my version of it. And Matt knows, like, I've been wanting to sculpt the Goliath for years.
Oh yeah, man.
All the way back, like last time I attempted it, I was thinking about it. It was probably like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you busted out the model, I think, last week.
And I still had that dude.
Man, that's awesome. I'm so sad whenever I think about some of the models that I've lost over the years.
I know. I had my what was it? My Real Monsters. I lost those guys.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, and it was a bummer. Because let's see. What's going on with you? Yeah, so if I want to do those guys again, I have to build them from scratch, which is not a big deal. It's not like their silhouettes are crazy, crazy difficult to attempt. But all right, let's see. I've got like pretty much all the anatomy kind of locked in there. Now that I've got his feet are sculpted, the next thing I'll do after that is kind of blend the legs together, and spend a little bit more time on the musculature on the back of the legs, and then I got to spend some time on the arms, get the hands welded together. Kind of same process where I just take one finger. Doop.
For sure. It's just you're in the long run, man. The marathon.
Especially with a character like this, where like I want to do several things with it. One thing I definitely want to do is like I want to do the stone shot, where the stone is like cracked around him.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I have that.
It's kind of like cracking off of them and shit.
Yeah, because I have that in the reference, and it's this is concept art from somebody, and I love the idea of like you see the flesh, you see the flesh underneath, and then there's the stone on top, because then I can I can actually just crack some stone on top of this guy, duplicate the model and build out some, eat away, kind of add some stone, build some thickness in there, and it's going to be rad. So I kind of want to do that as well. And also, I'm going to have to open his mouth at some point.
Yeah.
Get some
for sure.
So, you got to put some teeth in there. So, this guy is a journey. And then I figure what the hell, I might as well sculpt the rest of them at some point. If you're going to do Goliath, I think the next one would be Bronx, because Bronx is my favorite.
Yeah, that's fun.
Also, like one of the most gargoyle looking, gargoyles of the bunch.
Yeah, he's got that kind of classic gargy.
That
gargle.
I kind of want to see you do an animation of him climbing a wall. I am a terrible animator. I am awful at animation.
It takes a very long time.
Animation is very difficult. And I say this like as someone who like studied theater and acting and all this stuff. Animating a digital character is very different.
Yeah, I mean that's what breaks every single shot is the animation. It doesn't matter how good or how bad the character looks. If it's not moving natural, then everybody can tell it's not moving natural.
Yeah, it's the biggest giveaway of like what's working.
Yeah.
So I am not an animator. I'm very animators get like 2 minutes per film or something. Jeez. I heard like if you were a rock star animator, you could get maybe 7 seconds in a week or something like that. I'm not sure, but
for a version, maybe.
For a version, yeah, exactly.
Dude, the versions that these guys go through, y'all, it's insane. It is insane.
And also, like, I think partially it's because animation and rigging have not really changed much in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, now we've got
tools are a little bit better,
yeah.
but the bones and the IK and all that stuff really hasn't changed much.
Yeah, and everybody still thinks like, oh, well, you can just use a mocap suit and da-da-da. And it's like, well, I mean, you literally have to clean all of that up and then art direct and reanimate the entire thing.
Animate everything over again.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a
it's reference.
It's not it's not like the be all end all solution.
It's reference.
So yeah, it's I feel like there's been no major upgrade. Like graphically, there's been huge updates in graphics and rendering and all this stuff, but like still the rigging animation side of it has not changed that much.
Yeah, I mean we've got the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, man.
Yeah. That's it.
I mean that's a staple, and it still looks better than like 99% of everything else that comes out. And it's old. It's NURBS patch modeling.
NURBS patch model, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Blend upper leg and lower.
Eagly from Peacemaker is amazing in every shot.
Yes,
it looks incredible.
That's Weta, I believe.
Yeah, either Weta or I know Zoic does birds really well, but I mean, yeah, because Weta did the chimpanzee guy from.
They did Caesar.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely, but I mean, most recently they did Umbrella Academy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I mean that's they're the ape guys. They nail it. King Kong. Not a big deal. Godzilla.
King Kong, Godzilla. I mean, jeez.
Warbet, Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, it's incredible, and I don't know, man. I think people are still numb to the spectacle. But my God, the wizardry that it takes to make that stuff it's
It's
still
insane.
mind blowing.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like stuff you'd never think about, you know, like having to develop an entire like particle system for like dried blood and dried mud on dynamic fur
Yeah.
that is dry and then gets wet. You know, it's like crap, dude. You literally have to think of everything.
Dude's much smarter than me.
Oh yeah,
So much smarter. And that's probably why they're higher paid too.
and it's like not hard to do because we're not like super smart.
No, we're not. I mean, we sculpt really nice things.
I don't know. I mean,
we're okay. we're doing okay. We're all right.
We are doing all right.
We're doing okay. But yeah. How are companies able to do really large, wide shots of armies with a bunch of action in a couple of time frames? There's software for that called Massive.
There's also outsourcing to cheaper facilities.
Yeah, exactly.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, I mean, no one VFX house takes on a whole movie. They might get awarded like a bunch of shots. Like the bulk of a show might go to Weta or ILM. They'll do the bulk of that. But then there are smaller shots that they can't take on that will go to smaller houses or things like that. And that's when you look on the wall of names in the credits, that's what's going on. You know, it's a lot of, it's a lot. It takes an army to make a movie.
Yeah.
And especially like any movie in the last 20 years, especially look at, Pirates of the Caribbean, or talk about an Avengers movie, and then, sometimes you get to work on a big movie because you're a small house and the other houses are they're chock full. So you're like, oh, sweet, we get a shot to work on a big movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And you hung out with the guy who working on Eagly. That's rad.
Awesome, dude.
That's awesome. I love Eagly, and I think
looks
incredible. He looks amazing
in every shot.
And then they have him hugging Peacemaker too, right? Like they're hugging.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, that was great. I mean, the animations and the expression, like the expression that they got through the bird was incredible, man. I mean, it looked phenomenal, but the animation was.
That's what really.
That's number one. It sells it, And the look dev on it was incredible. Simulation on it was incredible. The whole time I'm just like blown away, and it is so rare.
And it's
where
I'm
like, fuck, dude, that looks great. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's on TV.
Yeah,
like, that's what kills me. It's like that looks that good on TV, and I won't spoil the rest of Peacemaker for anybody who hasn't seen it. But it is there's some really fun stuff in the last few episodes.
Oh yeah, show's incredible.
It is a very, very enjoyable show.
There we go.
Okay, so I've been pretty much just working on anatomy this round.
Oh yeah, me too. I've just been kind of noodling in some
We've been deep in
forums
Noodletown.
And Noodletown is one of the best towns to be a part of.
You know what's nice about Noodletown is like you kind of shut off your brain. Like this is why we can talk while we're sculpting, is because we're in Noodletown.
Yeah, you're just kind of automatically just rolling.
Yeah, you get to a point where you've sculpted enough bodies that you just kind of know what to expect. You've got the anatomy memorized and all that stuff. Not that there's always more to learn. You're like, this reference is great because dude is up on his tiptoes. So this is like perfect reference.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. It's like, yeah, dude, like you got to find that exact
perfect. Yeah. Cause he's on his tiptoes, which is exactly how a trilateral leg would be flexing. So like what I'm really looking at doing here is just kind of matching the shadows. This is kind of what I'm spotting. I'm trying to add, a shelf here that's going to cast shadow in the same way that this is casting shadow.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very enjoyable. What you eating? Are you eating corn nuts?
It is ice out of my glass. The best meal.
The best. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's that 0-calorie meal.
Delicious. Oh, see you later, Deckard. Have fun.
Later.
Thanks for hanging out with us, man. It's always nice when people come on by. We're very happy to have you hang out with us and sculpt.
Just come party.
Just come party with us and hang out and talk monsters and movies. We're just going to Party Town. And so even right now, my mesh is not fused together. I've not dynameshed it. This way, it just allows me to like resolve certain areas if I want to.
Yeah, you just wait until you've locked it in.
Yeah, I mean? and then that's like welding it together is like the last thing you do.
Yeah, and I mean what I did with this guy was he was in Dynamesh, and then I took him to ZRemesher so I could just kind of alter the forms on a larger scale, and then kick him back into Dynamesh.
Yeah,
yeah. The subdiv workflow is, the greatest thing that's ever been created. So whenever you like need to make giant changes to a form, just kicking down to that first or second sub D and moving stuff around is just incredible.
Oh man. Yeah, in the beginning, that's like how I would model most of my models, because like, before Dynamesh, we had to go through subdivision layers. And that's how we sculpt that back in my day. That's how we sculpted.
Yeah.
We didn't have these fancy we didn't have no fancy.
What did you not have that was no
We didn't
fancy?
have no fancy. That's what we didn't have.
We didn't have no fancy.
We didn't have no fancy. Everything was beans. It was all made of beans.
Everything was made of beans.
Everything was made of beans.
Brown, black, and pink.
Pinto and jelly. All the beans. That's how we did it.
And jelly.
And you know what? We liked it.
Uphill both ways in those jelly beans.
And that's how we sculpted back in my day. We didn't have none of this sculptress.
All right.
And I've also been sculpting with Sculptress on the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much always work in Sculptress now.
That's dope.
Because it is, I mean, their resolution is not an issue. So I only use Dynamesh for welding or cutting holes.
Oh, cool. That's what's up.
That's what's up.
Let's check that out next time. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm gonna kick up.
You don't use the Sculptress?
I mean, I haven't used it like that, like on an entire character instead of.
Try it.
Only, yeah.
Try doing it on your guy. You're gonna love it.
You're gonna love the way you look.
You're gonna love the way you look.
All right, it's almost my bedtime.
All right. Well, let's do a check-in, Matt.
Yeah.
You got your guy in Happy Town. Let's pull that up.
Just got that. Where are we at? Did it work? There he is. And classically.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, dude, look at that. That looks great.
Yeah, I'm just working on fleshing out the entire head, you know. Let's get rid of these guys. Because just a scary floating head like this kind of wrinkling language and stuff. I like it. I'll probably do some paint overs next time on the eyes. What do I want the eyes to look like? Although the black.
Try some different stuff.
I mean, the reptile eyes, double pupils, whatever it is, but the black eye, I mean, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It really does. Like it's that.
But it would be nice to see
awesome,
some iris, to see an iris in there.
Yeah, that stuff always looks awesome though. Like just black eyes like that. I love that stuff.
Yeah, when they're really like reflective and nasty, it's great.
Maybe just a little bit of material separation here. Like he's got that. Yeah, there you go.
Sweet.
There you go.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's more of the idea, right?
Yeah, I like the lips that are pulled back on the chin.
Yeah.
You see a little bit more of that the like musculature. That's great.
Thanks.
He looks I said this before, but he looks malicious, like mischievous and devilish. Even.
He's ready. He's ready to party.
I like it. And
how do beholders poop?
You got to do them. You got to make them poop.
They poop right out of here.
They poop from their mouth.
They poop right from. I mean, dude, they're beholders, man.
Maybe they like talk as they talk to you. They poop on you a little bit.
I mean, there might be a butthole down there. Let's go.
Oh, there you go. Maybe it's a long, stringy poop, kind of like a goldfish.
There you go.
Like really, yeah. There you go. Nice.
But yeah, there you have it.
Looks great, dude.
Dude, thank you. The post that I did on Instagram ended up being my most liked post ever.
Really?
It's pretty, and it just keeps going. I don't know what happened.
Sometimes you ride the wave and it happens.
People like angry spheres with tentacles.
D&D, man. Everybody loves D&D.
Love me some D&D.
All right, so let's see. Okay, so here's about where I made it with Goliath, which is I'm going to pull up. So I saved out a new version. I'm going to pull up the old. So this is we can do the side by side, like where we started, where we ended. Okay, so this is where we started. And this is where we ended up. So more refined anatomy. Like obviously I'm now I'm doing the kind of like Eckhart pass where you over sculpt the muscles.
Yeah.
And so everything it's going to feel like really over sculpted right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back and you kind of do another knockdown pass.
Yeah, you add that kind of connective tissue in there.
Yeah, where you kind of build up a little bit of fatty tissue on top of it. But we got like some of the major stuff done, like the feet are done, not done, but like now it's welded together.
Big and strong ass
feet,
man.
Like really strong feet. So obviously I still have the hands to go, and I was working on the legs as well.
Yeah.
Anatomy. Because leg anatomy is is always really fun. A lot of different shape changes in there. So, and then some very minor changes to the face. So I didn't really focus on the face much, other than just scaling up the eyes. But that's where we ended up now. So it's gonna take more time. It's just time intensive. So one thing I did want to check in and show you is just to show that I've been working on this guy on the meantime. In addition to like noodling on Goliath here and there, I was working on this guy.
Nice.
Right.
Did you export out a poly paint, or did you just start all the way over?
I exported out a poly paint and used that as a base in Substance. So here's what it looks like in Substance. Right, pretty straightforward, and you know, Substance was it was a fun experience, like just getting to play with generators, putting dirt on them.
Yeah, learning all that stuff is, I mean, by the end of it, you literally bring stuff in and drag and drop.
Yeah, and once you learn that stuff, and eventually, like, you don't even think about it. You're just like, oh, I want more dirt. I want more of this. I want more of that.
Yeah. That's great, man.
Yeah, real fun.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's gnarly. It's really, really gnarly. So you know, because Subterranean, I put a lot of mud on him, and you know, things like that. So what I did is I baked out all the textures from here. I'm going to be rendering in Keyshot, even though, you know, I could render in other stuff. I figured Keyshot's the way to go, just because I just want to be able to send stuff over quick. So I threw them in Keyshot just to get a sense of like how Substance translates to Keyshot, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, what did you set your project up as?
I just saved it out as Keyshot files from Substance. You can bake out for Keyshot 9 and above.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you go to export textures,
yeah, but when you start your project, you have to set whether or not it's spec gloss.
Oh yeah.
PBR.
I set it to I think Arnold SSS or something, like, you know, one of those.
Okay, yeah.
But you can change that later if you want. Kind of.
Yeah.
But from there, you know, it just saves out, you know, all the basic stuff from.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And so you just plugged it all into Keyshot.
Yeah, I plugged in the maps into ZBrush just to see what it would look like, and then sent it over. Mm-hmm. So my dude here, he's got all the maps are pretty much plugged into in here.
But like, what about your spec maps and bump maps and stuff?
You can't plug those in, so I plug in
Keyshot.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it translates really, really nice.
Yeah, turn off the background, make it like a dark gray or something, so we can see.
It's
Oh yeah, he's got hair on him.
Yeah.
There you go.
So next week, I figure what I'll do is I'll show you. You know, we'll add some hair to it, because I want to add some hair to the back, which will help break up the shapes back here.
Cool. Yeah.
I figure some like really fun, kind of stringy hair on top of the head, and like some hair down here under the gull neck. There's a little bit of hair kind of under the eyes as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I saw. It reminded me of the Fly.
So I would Fly reference. So I'm going to add more in there. So once I've got the hair in there, then I'm going to show some different like we're going to pose them up in some different ways. Just to start, because right now, like when you look at a character like this, it's a little stiff, right? It's just like, So we're gonna turn the head. We're gonna try some different poses, from like crouched to like really like open, like he's like pouncing. So this way we can actually start playing with the character, and then we can do some lighting scenarios. So
did you plug this into anything else? Like you were saying, you were messing with Marmoset and stuff.
I haven't plugged them into Marmoset. I've got another. My Serpentina.
Serpentina,
into Marmoset. So right now, because I'm going to do a bunch of these guys like in a scene together, kind of like you know, a couple of them, you know, kind of posed up together. I don't want to have to bother taking that into Marmoset, although I could. So for now, I'm just going to stick with Keyshot, just because it's, you know, stupid easy.
Yeah, I like the breakup from the shoulders to the arms. Feels like a natural kind of scaly, scabby gradient.
Yeah, nice. It goes from that like bulbousy kind of nastiness all the way down to the arms, and there's some really cool stuff that Substance can do that like you just can't do in in just poly paint. Adding like scrapes and there's a zit generator in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That I love. I love being able to add zits, and I was playing around with the veins brushes for the eyes as well.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool brushes in there now, and they've got I know they've got like some projection map warping and stuff like Mari has, which is nice.
Yeah, like now you can actually like pin a photo face. So if I was doing a human character, that's what I would do, but no need to do that with this guy. What is the situation when you will have to export higher than 8 bits out of Substance? That's
you have to export high bit depth maps, like 32-bit EXRs and stuff for your height maps and stuff in production all the time. Color, if you're talking about color, that is going to be studio and workflow dependent, project dependent. It depends on what LUT you're getting, what color grade there is, whatever the studio is needing, but you're going to need over 8-bit for a lot of things, because whenever they come out of the render, your compositing team is manipulating everything in 32 bits. So if you have like 8-bit textures rendered in a model that's coming out in a 32-bit EXR, if you're crushing those levels in Nuke, it's going to destroy that image in some parts. So again, on like higher end productions, you will know ahead of time what their what the guidelines are, right?
Yeah, those are like meetings you're gonna have with your entire team. Like that, you're gonna have a lot of those meetings coming up. So it's like this is already like a cool shot. Like if I did
looking cool.
Like if I did the over the shoulder shot where it's kind of like, can you imagine this thing like turning and looking at you?
Yeah, so the eyes are emissive, huh?
Yeah, the eyes are a little bit emissive, and what I had to do
they look pretty bright.
They are bright, but like I need them for just for them to be able to show. So for like per shot, I would dial up the ambient up and down.
Right.
But like, can you imagine like an over the shoulder shot? You see it turn, and
and he goes, "I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty."
Scam like we call. He's like, talk to me. Yeah, but yes, it's good fun, and I think once we get the hair in there, that's going to add so much more life.
Oh, for sure.
And it's going to look nasty. Look at that thing.
Yeah, it's got a great silhouette. The needles look great and stuff.
Yeah, the quills, and
I think the one thing that's standing out to me is that I just really want to see some veinage in those wings, dude.
Oh yeah, I don't have any veinage.
Those really big bats.
Yeah,
is a perfect reference. Because it looks like dirty skin right now, but you want to see that veinage.
I'm gonna pull up. I'll have to what I could do. It's kind of like the question of like, where do you want to do it? I could add some more veins in Keyshot here.
Oh, with the labels and stuff.
Yeah, but like I'll probably want to not even with the labels, just like tile on the texture.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to affect the bump, so yeah, you're right.
All right, man. Well, I am getting out of here, my brother.
Well, that's it for Creature Corner. So let's go back and say goodnight. So thank you, everybody. Thanks to Lenovo, our sponsor, for sponsoring Creature Corner. We love you. Thank you to Noman School of Visual Effects. We love you.
Oh yeah,
we love you so much. And then if you want to contact us, come say hi. You can find Matt Millard's Twitty at itchytasty_.
That's right.
or you can find his Instagram at Matt Millard 3D.
That's what we like.
If you want to talk to me, Jared, that's me. You can find me. You can find me at MonsterMash042 on Twitter, or just at Jared Krichevsky on Instagram. So if you guys have any questions, requests, things that you want to see, at some point we're going to do a like Ask Us Anything, kind of like, how do I make this? How do I make that? And so we'd love to do a session like that. That'd be real fun. We're going to keep going on our fan art sculpts because we're just having fun.
I think more importantly, hit us up if you have horror movie recommendations.
Yes, that's a big one. That's the biggest one, is like what,
and prepare to be judged.
Yeah, we will judge you on your taste.
Big time.
Big time. So
big time.
So thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We love you. Stay safe. Good night. And happy creature sculpting.
Have a good night, y'all. Later, Jared.
Later, bud.